show his ETA on that. He's probably gonna be out for a year. But man, it was just the Bucks didn't have enough. Like you said, the Pacers outpaced them. You know what I'm saying? That whole entire series. And obviously Giannis can't do it all by himself. He can't do it all by himself. I think it was who was it Gary Trent that was on that team that scored 37? Gary Trent
Yeah.
Jr. And everybody was, and I know a lot of analysts saying like Gary Trent is not gonna hit 10 threes a game for you to win the series. It's just not gonna happen. But just moving on to like the next series, if you will, uh they play the Cavaliers. I feel like the winner of game one is gonna decide that series. Momentum is gonna shift once game one is over. And it goes back to what you said about Indiana's pace. Cleveland has a pace too, but they're more consistent than Indiana, in my opinion, in terms of scoring. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I feel like depth wise, they have a little bit more experience compared to Indiana's young core. But that, to me, whoever wins game one is definitely going to win that series.
In that series right there, that this series tells me everything about Cleveland that I need to know. Like, remember the question
Mm-hmm.
that I had about them going into the playoffs? Well, we'll find out a lot about you about y'all as a team in this series because to me,
Mm-hmm.
Indiana's. Indiana to me isn't scared of anyone that they meet up with in
No.
the playoffs. They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna play their game. They're gonna run and gun. Can you keep up? All the scoring that you did against Miami, well, you throw it out the window because that was Miami. You know what I'm saying? Can you do that against a team that can really meet you eye to eye and do this for 4 quarters? We're gonna find out a lot about everybody. And when I say everybody, I talked about just Darius Garland before, but Donovan Mitchell. And because we got, because I'm gonna be honest here, man. What is the last series in the playoffs that you saw Donovan Mitchell really look the part?
Yeah.
Because it's been since 2020, and we all think about that one series with Utah and Denver all those years back. It, that's it though. Like we haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen it since then. Not in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing you and in sports and in this game of basketball and every sport in general, you have to update your resume. What have you done to update that resume? Because the
Mm-hmm.
last thing we can really remember you for is that series, and you didn't even win that series. Might I add? You know what I'm saying? You played great, but you didn't even win. That was a first round series at that. So you don't have. So for me, are you going to take that step and push this team forward? Like I said, I'm looking at both of those guys over there. I just put on Darius Garland going into the playoffs, but if they're going to win, if they're going to continue to win, and if they want to see Boston or see whoever in the Eastern Conference Finals, then both of those guys going to need to elevate the level of play, and it will be required.
Yeah.
If Giannis and Dame struggled in that series before Dame got hurt, then I'm looking at Cleveland and saying, hey, look, they taking heads off over there in Indiana.
Right.
Be
Right.
careful.
Right.
Be very
Mm-hmm.
careful.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I want to see some. That's just me giving out a challenge to Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, he'll never see this, but it's me just giving out a challenge to him to see like, hey, can you take this Cleveland team to the next step? Because y'all have had such a great regular season. I would love to see y'all take the next step
Yeah.
and be a legitimate title contender. It starts in series like these right here, where you're playing against a great team. So we'll
Right.
see.
Right.
Um, but also before we leave off of this, Tyrese Halliburton, kudos,
Kudos to
kudos.
Tyrese, man.
People because people don't want to put Tyrese in certain conversations because his
Hey,
game maybe isn't always
did you
always what
see the
people like to
poll?
see.
Did you see the players poll that they said he was the most overrated player in the league?
I
The
did.
anonymous, yeah, that's crazy to me. I always thought Tyrese was in that category of being one of the most elite guards in the league. He may not be as explosive, but here's my thing. I think we have to kind of stop looking at scoring only as a way to categorize these guys because this guy is a great playmaker. He's a great facilitator. He can score the ball when he wants to. He's a decent defender. You know what I'm saying? And he can run the offense. If that team does not have Tyrese Halliburton, that team is nothing. I don't
Mm.
understand what the overrated narrative came from, because at the end of the day, y'all making it seem like if they didn't have Tyrese, they would be the same team.
Right.
No, if you take away that man off that team, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. So
Yeah.
like I just don't get where the slander comes from when it comes to Tyrese Halliburton, man. Y'all, I don't know what y'all got going on in that players meeting and whatever got going on, but y'all must really don't like that man.
I'm gonna
For
tell you.
y'all
I'm
be
gonna
doing
tell you. I'm gonna tell you what it is, and you know what it is too. Because he light skin.
that. Cause he light skin.
Because he light skin, bro. That's the only because
Yeah.
because think about it, bro. I'm just keep it a band. Why do people not put Jason Tatum in the face of the league category? Like Jason Tatum's got every single accolade and has done every single thing that would warrant him being considered the face of the league. He's been in the conference finals since he got into the league.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, when you talk about guys that people want to rally behind and be behind, it's never Jason Tatum. It's
Mm-hmm.
never him. Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese came out in the same class as Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball.
Anthony Evans in the middle ball, yeah.
He's consistently gotten better since he's been in the league. People they don't talk about him as if him and Anthony Edwards are in the same class. You would think I mean, this to be honest, you would think that Anthony Edwards has lapped him in terms of accomplishments. They're both Olympians. Now, obviously, Anthony Edwards had a different role on that Olympic team than Halliburton, but they both accomplished very much the same things so far in their careers. They've helped elevate their teams and their franchises to a consistent place where hey, they're on the doorstep of making the NBA Finals. They're on the doorstep of being a potential championship team. I don't
Yeah.
understand. I like you said. I think it's a. I don't like you. There are things outside of basketball that make you that propel you in front of the fans and everybody like that. But in terms of just the game itself, I don't see overrated. I don't see overrated because I thought Tyrese Halliburton has been properly rated. I've never heard anybody tell me Tyrese Halliburton's top 10. I haven't heard anybody put him in those types of conversations. I thought he's been properly rated. I think maybe people just don't like him. I think that's kind of my mindset on it. I think people maybe just don't like Tyrese Halliburton, but it is what
Yeah.
it is. It is what it is. But before we move off of this, who do we have winning this series? Cleveland, Indiana.
I'll take I got Cleveland in six. Give me Cleveland in six. I think that team has been too consistent all year for
Hmm.
them not to win that, to not reach the Eastern Conference Finals, especially with it being the matchup everyone wants to see. You know what I'm saying? So they
Right.
want to see the Boston, Cleveland, Eastern Conference Finals matchup. And plus, like you said, like yeah, Indiana they have pace, but so does Cleveland. But Cleveland they have more veterans and they're more consistent shooting wise.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like that starting lineup itself is lethal in a way. And then you got Ty Jerome coming out the bench doing his thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
He ain't no Peyton Pritchard, but yeah, he pretty much he there. You know what I'm saying?
Um, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Indiana. I'm gonna
Hmm.
go Indiana. I think.
Okay.
I, I just they've been here before. They've they've played in these types of series. Like I said, they made it to the conference finals just last year. Nothing that I think Cleveland has is anything I believe that Indiana can't handle. That's kind of the thing. And as far as for me, man, I think Indiana as a team, maybe not during the regular season, but when it comes out to the playoffs, they're more consistent in terms of they're gonna always score. They're gonna always score at a high clip, and if they can steal one of these first two games on the road in Cleveland, then they take home court advantage. I think if they do that, and I believe they will,
Mhm.
I got Indiana finding a way to get it done. I
Yeah.
truly do. But
Okay. Yeah.
But shoot, man,
Shout out,
I
shout
think
out, shout out Indiana, man. That's
hey,
getting
man,
hot on that, man.
the Indianapolis, baby. Yeah, they know what time it is, bro.
Nah,
Yeah,
he
I got
came up with that.
my
Ain't
my.
no way.
No,
Nah,
I did
he's
not come up with Indianapolis, bro. Indianapolis are a real
Indianapolis.
thing.
Listen,
Indianapols,
I've been
yeah.
a Colts fan my whole life, and I ain't never heard that. Cuz
You ain't never
never,
heard. Oh my God, don't worry about it.
never.
I got hey look, bro. So they got this dance, right? They got this dance they do called
They got a
they
dance
head in.
too.
They got a dance, bro. They got a dance. You know what I'm saying? I got a homeboy that know how to do it. He don't never want to show me. He'll never want to show he don't want to show the people what he can really do, how he really be getting down. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get him to show you the Indie Animals dance, bro. I swear, I promise you. Hey, shout out to the Indie Animals, shout out to the Pacers. You know what I'm saying? Go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals so we can see y'all versus Boston again. I'm with it. I think I got something for Boston this time around too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Mm.
But with that being said, though, I mean, I don't think we got anything else. I don't. Is there anything else like that you came across?